I'm talking today about children and violent media. Gerald Jones wrote an article in our text about children and violent media, and I just wanted to start out with the way I came up with my thesis on this was reading about him and his upbringing, his childhood, and his family, where he come out of, what kind of structured environment he had, and what it developed in him. And I realized that some of the kids, or people rather, that are raised in this environment have a need to change their personalities or come out in order to be successful in this world. Sometimes those personalities aren't always in line to meet the need of their future or their direction or the road that they're on in their life, and they need to have something or be taught or show themselves how to come out and change the way they're thinking. And Gerald Jones grew up in a very restricted family environment. His family, English teachers that were kind of scared of the world, kind of enclosed. I think they were being very protective through love for their children or for their son, wanting to protect him from the things that we see in the world today in our media. And what it did, it developed a personality in him that was introverted, I would say. And so he began to get into the comics through a character by the name of the Hulk, and it encouraged him and developed more of a brave type will inside of him to come out and begin to do things. And it motivated him also that this cartoon character would develop this strength, this personality inside of himself to go out and be a little bit more courageable and have courage. So, but as we go and we see that although this violent media may be good for certain types of individuals in our world today, it's not for everybody. I think that we need to step in and look at what it's doing to what audience. And as we separate the audiences of the world, particularly our children, some of them need to have this type of training. And I'll call it training because we need, as we develop our minds and our mindsets, our worldviews, we do this through training, through education, through medias. And so there is an audience for that media, and we could probably call it a tool for them in that media. But we got to look at the other side of the table, and the other side of the table is there's another audience sitting over there that possibly could be affected in a negative way in the same environment. But the majority of the people of our world really don't need this. They don't really need this type of media, being that they're being raised and mentored and through good positive role models. And so as one kid might need this and use this as a tool to come out and be successful and be right and be good in the world, another kid might use this in a negative effect and go out and cause some kind of damage out here in our world through murder or really executing some of this violent media in reality, taking it from a TV or a video game or a comic book and demonstrating it in reality and hurting people. So there's two audiences there. The main audience in the middle is the normal, what I would call the normal kids that are raised up with people and that we have in our country. The majority of the people don't get affected in these positive or negative or ways with this media. But in closing, I just think that if we expose the children to good counselors, good parents, the Bible, God, good ethics. The government one time sent me to a class in ethics for teaching spiritual counseling in the prison systems, and so I took my Bible, and my argument there was that Ethics have been around for thousands of years, written in the Bible. And so some of these ethics are good bases, good foundations for families to come up and be raised up without the need of violent media. So like I said in my paper, in my writing, that I think good parenting, good teachers, good counselors are much, much better role models than the Hulk or than some of these media personalities. But at the same time, I don't believe that we want our families, our kids, to be out there in an environment of violent media that is uncontrollable. I think we want to know what our children are reading or watching or playing, what games they're playing. And if this is on the internet or on the computer, we don't have that control with what they're viewing or how they're acting, and we don't realize what effects they're having in their minds and in the development of their mindsets or worldviews. So, in closing, I just don't think that Gerald Jones is speaking for a diversity of audience or a world full of audience. The World Group, he's speaking to a particular audience, and I think that we need to narrow it down, corral it, contain it in that environment so that it does help the people that need that kind of help, but it doesn't leak out and affect the rest of the world in a negative way. Thank you for your time. This is Raul Garza from Casper, Wyoming. I hope I did this right.